another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike. So today I'm just going to talk about, give you updates on things and stuff that I've been doing and things I've been noticing and whatnot. I'm hitting things here. So I guess the first update is I've been doing good. I set up a little, little couch in my room so I could meditate and stuff. And I've been pretty good at meditating every night with one of the Dr. Joe Dispenza's advanced meditations. And it's really good. A lot of things he talks about in that guided meditation is just feel your heart, feel where you are, and feel the love in your heart. And one of the main things is when you're creating your reality and stuff that you want, you got to step into that reality. I mentioned it a few times that when you are lying down, or if you're in a meditative position and you don't like guided meditations, let's say you just meditating into your just quietness and just be there present and just meditate and think of things, then you can just create the reality that you're wanting and step into it. And with the Dr. Dispenza one the other night, I was doing it, and it's crazy when you just let go and just surrender, like we've been talking, and just doing what we know we need to be doing, and just relax, take a deep breath in, calm the mind, be present, stop trying to control everything and whatnot, and just relax and then feel. And a lot of people, when you're creating, you got to remember that. A lot of people forget to do this, is you got to visualize, feel how you'd feel when you have what you were trying to create, so the reality that you want. And then you have to step into that reality and embrace all those feelings of excitement, love, joy, so on and so forth. And another thing, here's a fun fact, right? I wasn't even planning on recording today. I was just working away in my office, and then I look over and I was like, hey, I know whose car that is. And I came over here, and then Joel's like, hey, man. I'm like, are we recording today? He's like, I'm ready. Are you ready? He's like, that's why I'm here. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it works out because I got my days all screwed up. I don't know. See, my reality. I thought I was going to be here tomorrow for the weekend we can record. But no, it turns out I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be taking off. I got to pick up equipment, trucks, and travel all over the place. And it's going to be a fun time traveling. I'm just excited because I'm going to go to Kitchener, Ontario, and I'm going to grab me some Chick-fil-A. There's Chick-fil-A there. They're not sponsoring us. But last time I drove through Kitchener, Ontario, if those of you who know what Chick-fil-A is, it was a Sunday, and it was closed. You know how disappointed I was. I show up at Chick-fil-A. I'm so excited. I even skipped supper just so I could have a late dinner at Chick-fil-A because I really like their Southern sweet tea. I don't know. I was so excited about it. I was just visualizing it. I was like, oh, I'm going to enjoy this food. Yeah. And as I'm pulling up, I'm like, oh, no, what day is it today? My wife's like, it's Sunday. I'm like, my dreams have been shattered. And then I went straight to sadness, getting angry. Now I'm hungry. Now we're going to go to Wendy's. Oh, I digress. But, so lately I've just been letting go, letting things happen, and everything just works out. I got to stop. Trust me, every time I stop controlling my reality and controlling things, I just let it be. Let it be. I'm always saying, Hakuna Matata means no worries. Why worry? Why stress? Just let things happen. And look, I'm recording today, and hopefully it's going to be a good recording. It's got to go with the flow. But yeah, just how everything just works out. And I don't know, I find sometimes I stress so much about things. I'm just like, meh. I guess here's a fun fact. So I'm just going through all these invoices and all these payments and stuff, and my accounts are like, hey, it seems like we might be missing maybe a few payments, and they're pretty big payments there, Mike. So I'm reaching out to, most people be stressing out and flipping out and calling their customers hey, pay your bills, blah, blah, blah. But we send a lot of invoices to certain areas. We have certain customers that we supply them with everything they need. So some days I'm sending them 5 invoices, other days none, other days 20 invoices, and then their accounts would normally take it all and put all the invoices together and send us a wire transfer to pay these invoices, and send us an email saying, hey, here's all the invoices we paid, boom, 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 boom. But I guess they haven't been sending me saying, hey, these are the invoices we paid. I just see payments, and I'm trying to guess which ones belong to what. So I know I'm missing payments, but I can't figure it out on which ones. So I'm setting up a meeting where I'm going to actually go up there and sit down with the accountants, look over and see if there's any POs that we haven't, or they haven't paid us yet, so we can seal the deal on those and get paid. But I'm not stressed. I know whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and I know the universe is, going to provide. My higher self, whatever. Why stress? Sometimes I'm stressed. Like, I'm driving up in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell phone reception, especially in the winter. It's really cold. I mean, a heat wave's minus 20 up there. Minus 25 is heat wave-ish in the winter, especially when it's like polar vortex stuff. But sometimes, like, I'm driving, and it's like we have issues with our trucks and in the middle of nowhere, and it's just like, meh. I'll get there. I think my wife stresses enough for me. Because every time we're like strapping things in the truck, she's like, did you strap it right? Did you do it? Like, nothing's going to ship, nothing's going to... I'm like, nothing breaks. And we delivered tons and tons and tons of packages, and I haven't broke nothing. But, I'm responsible, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I just look back at all these things on how I'm forcing things. Like, we created that, in a sense that, like, we slowed down as much as we're slowed down now, because we talked in one of our previous episodes how I was thinking like, because this happened, this is why we're so, I just gave up on all that thinking. I'm just saying, hey, this is going to be amazing. This is a service everybody needs. Let's just let it happen and stop controlling it. We'll get the right employees when they come in. But in the meantime, me and my wife will work it and do what we do best and just work, hustle and get it growing. And then just stop trying. My wife's like, you're always wanting the next thing. You get what you want, and you're moving on to the next thing. You get what you want. Just sit here and be happy. And you know what? If I could truly just sit here and be happy, if everybody can just truly sit down and be happy where they're at and live every moment, every day to the fullest, how much happier we'll be. And like I ranted last time about how everything turns into drama and all this craziness and stuff like that. And how what TV shows and movies, I don't even really show the real world anymore. At least I don't think so. It is fun to watch fantasy world, I guess. But I digress. But yeah, you have to understand that every thought, every action you make is either going to contribute to the reality you're building or go against. Like, I know I mentioned it before, and I feel like we should talk about it again, because as our followers and as people listen to the podcast grow bigger and bigger, and sometimes you've got to hear things more than once in different ways. But, like, you got to stop, as Dr. Joe Dispenza will say, you got to stop being in high beta. You got to stop revving the engine hard and fast all day, every day, because that's not healthy for you. That's not good for you. And that's not going to help you achieve your goals. That if you're always stressed out and worried about, right? And all these, it's not good for your body to be like that. Like I referred to last time, it's a deer, right? A deer is walking and almost gets hit by a transport truck, and it just books it and just freaks out, takes off. And then 30 seconds later, it just stops and it's like, and just starts doing whatever it's doing again and doesn't care. It's adrenaline's calmed down and everything. But us as, I guess, humans, that we're always running like high frequency, high beta, and we're always stressed out and always revving that engine and pushing the brake at the same time. And that's not good for us. So we just got to take a step back, take a deep breath in and relax. Like, even I notice in myself that, like, there's a lot of times and a lot of things that I see that I'm not liking creeping up. Because it's funny, because sometimes I think of a situation or an incident, right, that happened to me years ago, and I start freaking out as if it's happening now. And then I'm like, oh, man, just what the heck's going on here? This is weird. This is all new to me, this stuff, because I used to never care. For some reason, I seem to care about it. I guess. I don't know. But I digress. But yeah, so like your body and everything just starts reacting as if it's happening again. So if you had a situation where you almost drowned and you're always thinking about that, for here's in this situation. My mom, when she was younger, was at a beach, and then, I don't know, big wave came and pulled her in a little bit, and she almost drowned when she was younger. And now she thinks about water and going near the water. She puts her feet in, that's about it. But and she's scared of big open waters. And every time she thinks of it and sees water, it takes her back to that situation when she was a kid, which is many moons ago. And then her mind and body is just like, nope, 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 nope. It's, some people call it irrational fears and stuff like that. And you can overcome them. If you have any fears that you're like, this is weird, like, why am I scared of heights? Or why am I scared of going on a plane? Or why am I scared of this? There's a guy that I want to bring into interview, and he's totally freaking out because he's afraid of public speaking. But I'm like, dude, you're not public speaking. You're talking in a studio. It's just going to be me and the audio technician and producer. And then, we're just going to be recording in a closed set, right? But no, he sees that, all these people are going to hear it. All these people are going to hear it. So he thinks about that. And then he gets all scared and nervous, and it gets all... And he freaks out. I'm just trying to work with him. I'm like, dude, he's like, don't push me. I'm like, I'm not pushing you, but just remember, just relax, take a deep breath in, and choose not to, right? And people say, oh, that's easy for you to say. That's easy for you to say. You don't know what I'm going through. You know what? I might not know exactly what you're going through, but we all been through similar situations. We all could relate. So there's 2 times in my life one time I almost drowned. One time I did drown. I didn't die. I'm here talking to you. But when I was a young, 4 or 5 years old, we're hanging out in Montreal. I'm dangling my feet in the Olympic swimming pool while my brothers and sisters are swimming around. And I kind of wanted to look down because I see people swimming down. And I look down and I fell into the water. And I just went, boo. I'm looking around, thinking how peaceful and calm it is under there. I'm like, this is amazing. And then I look over and I see my brother swimming towards me all frantically real fast, my oldest brother. And I'm just like, whatever. And that was it. Then I'm on top, and the lifeguard's doing mouth to mouth or whatever. Then I wake up, I'm like, oh, spitting out water and stuff. But that didn't scare me, that situation. I was like, wow, I love being underwater. So for many years, you could even see me at the beach holding a rock, walking into the water. People are just like, what's going on over there with this kid? And I'm just walking into the water and just seeing how long I could hold my breath. And I would get to like 2-3 minutes. And I was just like, yeah. And then as I got to a teenager, me and my buddy all summer long would practice. And when we go anywhere near water, we would hold our breath and just float to the bottom. I remember telling people, don't think about holding your breath, because then you're not going to have air, because you're going to worry and freak out and be like, I don't have air. Think about anything, but don't forget that you're underwater. That was one of the big concerns. So I remember telling my best friend's dad at the time, and I'm like, hey, when you are underwater, because he's like, how do you guys stay under so long? I'm like, don't think about holding your breath. Think of a song you like. Think of the stuff you have to do today. But just in the back of your mind, remember that you're underwater. Because you don't want to forget and start breathing. Be like, oh, this isn't going to work out. And yeah, he went from like 10, 15 seconds underwater to 30 to 40, 50 seconds, almost a minute. And he's just like, wow, simple. And right there was the law of attraction. If you're thinking about, oh, I have to hold my breath, and you're constantly thinking of it, then your body and mind's like, I don't have oxygen right now. He's really focusing on holding his breath. Like, there's not, and start freaking out. Then you're like, oh, I got to get up. I can't hold my breath anymore. But if you don't think about holding a breath and just be like, whatever, I know when it's time. I know when I run out of air, I need to come up. You'd be amazed. I watch these free divers, and I'm just like, how are they under there for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, or just so long? So I've been, me and my buddy were doing this for a while, where we were just holding our breath. We actually walked across like, little lakes and stuff, ponds, I guess, but not huge lakes, but like probably, I don't know, 30, 40, well, maybe not 40, but closer to 20, 25 feet deep. And me and him will just walk across, like out, hold the rock, walk, go through the seaweed. And, in Canada, or especially in Quebec, I'm not worried about crocodiles or sharks or anything like that. It's just fish, maybe snapping turtle. But that's about it. We don't have nothing big and scary. So like, whatever, right? I'm just walking through and having a good time. And then if I need air, I just drop the rock, go straight up, tap my buddy, and he'll go under, pick up the rock, and walk. And like, I remember we do that and just like walk as far as we can until we can, and then we go up, catch our breath, go back down, pick up the rock. And we walked across this, and people are just watching us like, what's wrong with these people? But it's a skill I wanted to have. And I loved being underwater. I thought being underwater was so peaceful, so amazing. And tranquility. Like I could even like with my kids now. Like, I just swim under the water and I'm just holding my breath, and they're like, I could beat you. I'm going to beat you. And I'm like, yeah, well, I could just swim underwater forever because I find it peaceful. And I want to take them scuba diving and stuff like that. But then now you fast forward to a year, 2 summers ago, I would say about 2 summers ago now. I didn't really drink coffee, never got into the coffee trend. But one of my employees was like, hey, man, you got to try these iced coffees. They're really good. And then I got hooked on the cold brew over at that big American coffee chain with the lady on it. At least a mermaid, maybe? I don't know. What's it called? Do you know what I'm talking about? Starbucks. Huh? Starbucks, yeah. Okay, Starbucks. I thought he thinks, are you trying to be funny right now? No, I just really draw the blank on Starbucks. Yeah.
You remember the woman, but not the name.
Yeah, I remember the mermaid or whatever the creature is. Does everybody know? If you know what it is, email us at lifechangersmike@gmail. It is a mermaid?
Yeah.
Oh, there, we solved it. Some people, have conspiracies about it, but it's an actual mermaid from Moby Dick. Okay. I'm glad I made you laugh today. If that's all I did, hey, I did good. If everybody's laughing right now at me because I don't, man. But yeah, Starbucks. I got really hooked on the Starbucks cold brew, vanilla cold brew. Oh, so good. And, I started thinking I needed coffee and stuff. And like my wife, when she was to drink, I need like a little bit of coffee or anything with caffeine in it. Like, she gets all shaky and stuff. So I started, like, my employees always drinking coffee and Red Bull and stuff. So I was like, well, maybe I need to be more functional, right? Anyway, so I got into the trend. And that summer I was out swimming, and I'm a good swimmer. I love swimming, right? And I'm out swimming at a little pond and lake that has all these floaty things in it. And I'm just maybe 30 feet out, and my son was going out with his life jacket on, and he's like, Daddy, go with me. And then he, holds my back, and I go swimming like a little dolphin or sea lion. My kids make me go, and slap my belly. It's funny. I digress. So yeah, I'm going swimming, and then the weirdest thing happened to me. You got to understand, I never, ever had an experience like this before where I could not control my mind. My mind was, boom. It was determined. My mind was determined, telling me that you're going to drown right now. You're going to die. And I was like, what? I'm not a negative person. I'm not thinking. I'm out there. And then I start trying to climb up on this floaty thing. So you got to like swim up, pull yourself on it. And it's really hard for the kids sometimes. So sometimes I throw my son up there and my daughter up there. And then you climb up another thing, and then you're on a trampoline. You can take a breath and, just relax. But I tried to get up, and I started panicking. And I realized I was panicking. I was like, what the heck is going on right now? And I felt like, well, if I'm going to stay here, I might try to grab onto my kid, grab onto a random kid swimming over here, and just push him under and freak out. Because I always sometimes see people panicking. I'm like, calm down, relax. Like, what's going on? I never understood it. Well, I experienced it. So I'm like, no. So I know I could swim on my back forever. I could just float in the middle of the ocean forever unless a shark eats me. And so I go to float on my back, and I push off, and I'm like, I'm going back to shore. And it's not that far. And maybe like 15 feet, where then I could put my feet on the ground and walk again, because it's not that deep. The whole thing's not deep at all. Like, so maybe 15, 20, maybe 20 feet deep, 15 feet deep. So I used to dive down there all the time and just, feel around, see if I could find things that people have dropped, right? But yeah, so I'm freaking out. I'm going backwards, and then I'm panicking, like as if I thought I was underwater drowning. Like the way my body was reacting, I couldn't control my body. My body was like, nope, you're drowning, you're dead. And I'm like, no, what? I'm not even underwater. I'm above water, I could breathe. And I'm like, like now I'm like hyperventilating, freaking out. And I start panic swimming back, and my buddy was there, and I'm screaming in French, aide-moi, aide-moi. And he's looking at me like, thinking I'm joking around because I'm a strong, good swimmer. And I'm like, aide-moi. And he sees like, oh no. And people at the beach, I could see them all freaking. My wife's like, what the heck's going on? Like, I could swim laps in that pond, right, all day long and not worry about anything. And I thought I was going underwater, and I was like, couldn't breathe, and I'm freaking out, hyperventilating. And I finally make it to where I can stand up. My buddy grabs me and just like throws me, and he's like, "You could stand." And I'm like, and I stood up, and I'm just like, and trying to calm down. And then I get to the shore. My wife's like, "You're okay?" And there's all these people out. Like, I'm I'm embarrassed. Like, oh man, I'm making a big scene. And I'm freaking out, like how embarrassed I am and how uncomfortable I'm making people. And I just get to my wife's like, "Don't worry." And I'm just trying to catch my breath. I'm like, and it felt like I just swam like 20 miles or ran a marathon or something. And I'm just freaking out. And you got to remember, growing up, I've always been athletic. I could run 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and have a great time and not be out of breath. I used to run in races, and I'll do 3 kilometer race, then within 10 minutes, I'm back doing a 5 kilometer race, and then just whatever, right? But now I'm like, oh no, it's because I got a belly, I'm a bit fat, and oh, maybe now I'm not a strong swimmer. Maybe now I'm going to be that guy that wheezes just to stand up and walk to the fridge, and I'm thinking all this stuff. And there's one thing I noticed, like from that day to like my whole body, like my body thought it was drowning and it was dead, and it was everything survival mode. And I never had my body do that before, where I experienced it. And I'm there in my mind as I'm swimming. You got to remember, I'm there like, hey, calm down, relax. My body, mind's like, ah! But I'm in there going, no, I'm a strong swimmer. This doesn't affect me. But I could not control nothing. And it really freaked me out. And even my wife, I was like shaking and just out of energy, like, oh. And then one of the people that owned the place I was at came and picked me up and brought me back to where I can relax and hang out and catch my energy and my breath. And I just felt bad. I was apologizing to everybody the next day and saying I'm sorry and all this. But it's weird because I never had that experience. And now, to this day, I find myself, even if I think about that situation, I start panicking. And the other day, I was like, this last summer, we have a trailer and we go travel sometimes and go to different events, and we bring our trailer or tent. And sometimes I find myself like just worrying about like, things that I never worried about, and start panicking. My wife's like, calm down, relax, And sometimes I'll just be like, I don't know. We bought a new trailer, and like it's the back of the trailer was where the queen bed is, and you sleep, and the roof is like right there. Like maybe it's like 4 feet from the bottom of the bed to the roof. So I'm up under there, and I'm like, yeah, I'll jump in first. So then now there's a wall. I'm surrounded by walls, and there's only one way out. And then my wife comes up, and she's like, okay, if the kids need me, I can get out and help. Unless you want to do it. I'm like, no. I'm just sitting there talking to my wife, and I started feeling like anxious, started feeling like claustrophobic, and I never felt that way before. And I was just like, so I start, almost panicking. I'm like, calm down, stop, relax. This is, you're not drowning. You're not, in that situation. There's nothing. And then I was just like, I need to sleep. I pissed off my mother. I'm like, get out now. So I jumped down. I'm like, I need to sleep on the edge where I can feel like I'm not claustrophobic. And she's like, where's all this coming from? And I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's from that incident, right? Now, in the back of my mind, I'm always worried. And I always know I snore. I know, like, I might be, I'm talking about myself, but these are experiences that changed who I am, and now I'm trying to change out of it. But I'm trying to explain to you how it works and how you could reverse it, and how I'm in the process of trying to fix this. But I know I snore. Some people say I stop breathing. My wife sometimes is like, yeah, sometimes you just be sleeping, and I'm like, nothing. She's like, is he dead? And I go, so I went and got the machine and all that, but I found I didn't sleep as well with the machine and stuff. And people were telling, I always knew I snore. Even as a teenager, I snored. Because when I was younger, I hit in the face with a basketball and broke my nose, and I never got it fixed, so I can't breathe through my nose properly. I digress. But, so now every time I'm lying down on my back or lying, I'm sometimes panicking, going, oh, maybe I'm and then I start going back to that drowning situation in my mind. And like, when I'm sleeping. So every time, like, sometimes I'm sleeping, and if I catch myself, like, not breathing, I'm like freaking out, like, oh no. And then I go right back to that situation where I'm drowning. Or at least I thought I was, but I wasn't. But yeah, like the reason why I tell you all this is because there's techniques that I'm working on, and I'm trying to program myself that this is not an issue. So for a while, sometimes I'll tell myself, every time I go to bed, I do not snore. I do not have sleep apnea. I breathe through the night. You know, my body knows what to do, relax, blah, blah. And sometimes I'm going on a trip and I would warn my friends or employees or people that I'm training that come up with me. And I'm like, hey, I snore. So if you have a problem with that, earbuds, noise canceling, whatever you need to do, right? And they're like, I never hear you not snore. You were not snoring at all. Like, is this a joke? He's like, I brought my earbuds, music, and all sorts of thinking you're a snore. I'm like, oh, did I go catching my breath? And he's like, I don't know what's wrong with you, man, but no, you don't. You sleep peacefully and quietly. I'm like, huh. I'm like, maybe it worked, right? And then the old me comes back, you know, after a few days, like I stopped telling myself, oh, I am good, I just don't snore, don't, you know, stop the mantra. And then he's like, yeah, you snore. I was like, this is interesting. So if I don't do the mantra and tell myself, then it reverts right back to the old me, the me that's been doing this for who knows how long, decades probably, right? Where I'm snoring and not breathing. So I'm practicing these techniques that I've been learning of. You just got to tell yourself, like, I do not, right? Or just, you know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. And if I'm doing it wrong, please let me know. Drop a comment or email us, lifechangersmike@gmail.ca or .com. I don't even know. It's in the profile. Just click it. But yeah, so, and I know that maybe I shouldn't say do not snore, because maybe that's not the proper term, the proper way, because now I'm focusing on snoring. So in my reality, if I'm telling myself I don't snore, well, all the universe hears is I snore. It doesn't catch the middle word, right? So maybe I should just tell myself, like, I sleep through the night, I sleep well, you know, try to find different ways of saying it. Because as we talked in other episodes, if you focus on negative things, well, negative things are going to happen to you. So you got to remember and not focus on all the negativity and all the stuff. So maybe I should change the way I think about that. But maybe, see, I'm just, you know, maybe tonight when I do my meditation, I'm going to do the meditation where the new me does not have that situation. I'm going to block that situation out, take it out of my reality, as they say. And you're like, well, no, it's happened to you, so it's your reality. Well, no, I could change my reality. And I'm telling you now, I'm going to keep you up to date. I'm going to keep you apprised of what's going on. But in my reality, I'm going to meditate and change that never even happened in my reality.